Welcome to the Parenting Reboot, where we talk about everything from how technology is shaping our lives to whether parents should be relying on ChatGPT to create the next lullaby. So, today on our show, we have Anmol. He's somewhat of a humble startup guru with a background in machine learning and AI, but his LinkedIn bio says that he is a full time human. He is a girl dad to an adorable 5-year old, and his interests include reading books, passion for music, as well as pushing his limits to learn about the philosophy of the world. And some days I have heard that his daughter does test his limit on screen time. So I guess we are here to find out what the answer is from him and some tips and strategies on how he is going about navigating parenting alongside technology. So, welcome to the show, Anmol. It's really fantastic to have you here.
Thank you, Deepa. I'm very glad to be here.
I'm glad we're able to do kind of an official, chat about this. So tell us a bit more about your background in machine learning, what you are up to right now.
So I started off as a data analyst in I don't know, 15, 16 years ago. And like that time there was, these jargons did not exist like machine learning, AI. Then I kept working in data analytics for very long, statistical modeling and other things. Then I created my own startup in machine learning, and we ran the startup for almost 5 years, and then eventually it was acquired by this platform called 17 Life, where I am working right now as director of machine learning. It's been 5 years here also, and it's been very rewarding experience actually. And like throughout, I was doing like data and I'm very passionate about finding patterns, looking into things, and being able to deduce some hidden truth behind things. I'm always very passionate about it, and it's not just limited to uh, like work data. So like even in life, as you said, right, I like to explore philosophy and things. So for me, it's not just about philosophy, it's about finding those patterns in the life, also in the data of life, of the things that are happening around me, and be able to find some hidden truth, and that really gives me a kick.
It's amazing that you're able to connect so many different parts of your life. It's not just like you said in tech, but also in real life. I want to talk about the connection, Anmol, with you about parenting and technology. Where does that section happen for you day to day? And how are you navigating your own use of technology, let's say, when, your daughter is seeing you use technology, or how does technology work in your home space?
I mean, I am a nerd in that sense. So obviously, we have a lot of gadgets, and my daughter has been exposed to a lot of tech, even from very childhood. Right, I remember that I have a electronic drum set actually in my home, and I remember like when my daughter was like 2 years old, she was already showing interest. I have like photos of her wearing my big headphones, which are
Wow.
looking too big on her small face, and she's like playing drums there. So she has been exposed to a lot of technology actually, and unfortunately, that also means that there are things which she's exposed to which I am not able to control very easily, and which might be a little bit harmful for her, because I think like tech space right now is filled with things which are not so good for kids. So yes, so that definitely poses a challenge. But like I'm an optimist, so like I would never do this, that we will cut off the technology and we will not let our daughter get exposed to something just because we it might harm her. I would rather find ways, create some kind of solutions without cutting off technology, because technology ultimately is very good, and it definitely exposes you to be more than what you are. Like it gives you that kind of exposure. So it's definitely very good for your kids. But obviously, it's a tool, and a tool can be used in a good way or a bad way. So that's what you need to be wary of.
So, how do you use it in a good way at home? Like, are there any examples or some lessons you can share with us on, strategies you implement at home when, you know that your daughter has had too much exposure and now it's time to roll back a bit or like teach her, almost the rules of the game?
Like it's very hard for you to teach kids anything actually. So it's like I don't think of changing behavior in terms of giving instructions. So I don't think that actually works. Like nobody learns like that. If I tell you something that, oh, this is how it is, I don't think you will learn anything. Only way to actually make people learn something is to get them to do those things. So if you think about learning in that way, you can think about parenting in form of games. So you can play games with your kids where you can give them some kind of exposure to the things that you want them to try out, and then like make it like a reward and punishment kind of a system. And so like for example, I will. My daughter recently wanted a smartwatch because some of her friends had a smartwatch, right? So, and then obviously I'm like a little bit concerned about like what kind of impact the smartwatch will have, and there is an unpredictability that your kid will get exposed to things which you don't want them to be. But I made it like a game in the sense that she said like, oh, I want to buy it, but I said that no, you will have to do some good behaviors, and then those behaviors will earn you points, and only if you have like 1,000 points, then only I will buy you the smartwatch. Then she's like, okay. So that actually triggered some changes. Like for example, so with this I am able to control how much is exposed to technology. So like for example, if you watch TV for 30 minutes, that's a good behavior. But if you watch for more than 30 minutes, then that's a bad behavior. So there could be positive points and there could be negative points for that behavior. And then because she wants a smart watch so badly, she is willing to do that. And because it's like 1,000 points, it is taking her some time to reach there. So in the meantime, her behavior is getting influenced, and like no, it's not a temporary but a permanent change in her behavior of, let's say, watching how much she can watch the TV. So similarly, like even for after buying the smartwatch also, like now because she is used to of this game kind of situation. So what I did was like she was insisting on wearing the smartwatch to her school, but I told her that because I am the one who bought the watch for you, and so I am kind of owner of the watch, and so I will decide that where the watch will go and where the watch will not go. So she kind of honors that system now because she's been exposed to this thing, right? That you have to earn something to get it instead of just getting it, right? So she is kind of honoring that thing. That is and so now I have this tool in my arsenal as such that, oh, I will let you take the smartwatch to your school, but you will have to do xyz for me. Then she's like, okay, yeah, I will do. But yeah, obviously as a parent you have to make sure that that xyz that you're asking your kid to do, that is the aligned to the values that you want to inject in your kid. So obviously that takes a little bit of wisdom and long-term thinking, but I think this kind of methodology works much better than the instructional methodology that most parents try out.
So, how did you come across this? Was this by trial and error, or were you influenced by like social media, or have you seen somebody try out these gamification sort of strategies, or
Uh,
is it
uh,
just
uh,
your
uh,
own brain?
yeah, I'm actually interested in gamification. I'm not on any social media, so I don't know what is going on social media actually. Yeah. So, but like I actually generally don't want to get influenced because I want to create my own. I think the best solutions are the ones that you create. You can read about some solution, but then you will get influenced by that solution so much that you will try to fit it into the problem instead of fitting the find like fitting the problem into the solution actually. So usually I don't get exposed to these kind of things. I try to come up on my own, and like in my own company also I have seen that like even for my team members, this kind of gamification techniques actually work much better in changing their behavior. So I kind of knew that this actually works, but it's a little bit challenging in for a kid, right? Because kid does not have a concept of, for example, money in their mind. So it's not very easy for you to actually tell them that, oh, you will get this much money, but they don't even know that what will they do with the money. They might be happy actually that they're getting something, but they don't know. So you can't have that kind of long lasting impact as you can have with adults.
Hmm.
But having said that, I think like the overall this technique works. So if you trial and error with a little bit like let's say points or this kind of scenarios or that kind of scenarios, and like don't give up if you're facing any problems, just try to change your strategies a little bit and keep committed to this kind of gamification kind of technique. I think it generally it works for it, and the best part about it is that no one is unhappy. You will be very happy in coming up with creative solutions, and your kid will be very happy because you're not scolding them or you're not telling them to do something which they don't want to do. So this is the beauty of gamification, that you they always feel that this is what they want to do because it is game, right? They always are in that play kind of mode, and for them everything is a play. So if you are able to tune it in that play mode, they always respond.
That's a very interesting take on how you would balance technology as a parent, right? What about parenting control apps, Anmol? Like these days, all kinds of devices, like be it your iPhone or even TVs, smart TVs, have these kind of timers set, and like you can enforce some sort of a lock on them that beyond 30 minutes or 1 hour, they're not allowed to watch stuff. So, what is your take on that? Is it too invasive or is it like empowering to you?
No, I think like generally it's again it's a tool, so you will have to come up with the wisdom to be able to use the tool properly actually. So parental controls are good in a way that it gives you an ability to like restrict what your kid will watch and for how much time they will watch it. But the thing is that again, like if you might be living in an illusion that you have the parental controls and that's why your kid is not getting exposed to anything bad, but that may not be true. So you will have to constantly take feedbacks from these apps, like even after doing it, and even after doing it for 100 times, and even after doing it for like years, you cannot just let it be. Like you have to be vigilant always that whatever controls you have set, like within those parameters, everything that is happening is what you want your kid to get exposed to. And obviously a little bit of flexibility is also needed, like because as a parent we don't know everything, right? And kids are actually brilliant and they are getting exposed to so many other things which, like, I am not even on social media, so I don't even know what is happening in kids world right now. So I'm kind of reliant on my daughter only to tell me that this is what she wants and this is what she doesn't want. So you can't be rigid in the sense that no, I only know about this thing and I will only give you access to this thing, right? You can't be rigid about that, otherwise it, like, it's not good for the relationship. But having said that, yes, you have to act as the ultimate authority and ultimate decision maker, and sometimes you may have to take hard decisions, and sometimes you may have to do some uncomfortable conversation. So it cannot be 100% pleasurable kind of a situation. But yeah, I think 80-20 is a very good balance. 80% time if you are having fun with your kids, and 20% time if you have to do these kind of restrictions on and like avoid certain things. I think that's a very, very good balance already.
That's actually a very good recipe, because what you are actually promoting and sharing with other parents to do is instill that trust with your child, create that bonding, create that relationship, so they're kind of upfront and honest with you about what they watch online, what they like, what they dislike, and then build from there on, right?
Actually,
Okay. In the next section, Anmol, I want to talk to you about ethics and rules around artificial intelligence, both at home and at school, right? AI is emerging. There's so much to explore and learn from all of these different forms of AI tools like ChatGPT and other tools. Um, do you think it should be like a household tool? And like, first, let's talk about AI use at home. Do you guys use AI at home? How does that work? Is your daughter exposed to AI yet?
Um, I don't think there is any way to not get exposed to AI right now. And like for me, I use ChatGPT very extensively. Like ChatGPT is like my best friend right now. So like I can't get rid of it. So yes, there is a lot of usage around our home. And my daughter, I would say like she has the exposure, but not in a way which is anything very important to her right now. Like it's not like she is not into reading that much. So it's not like she will just go to ChatGPT and read about things. It's not like that. I think her exposure is more on so let's say let's find meaning of this word that you have just read. But she is starting to do it. Like she has this conception in mind that there is something called ChatGPT, and it has like answers to a lot of things in the world, and you can ask whatever we want. And it's just that the whole interface is very boring for her. If it would have been like some playful kind of interface, like a game kind of interface, I'm sure that she would explore it more. But as of now, it's a bit limited. Nothing that which influences her in anything useful to her. So the good thing is that I use it a lot, and obviously my parenting is influenced by what I am talking to ChatGPT. And like I work in AI, so anyway, like my whole work is also influenced by AI, right? So I can still control how AI is influencing my daughter right now. So I think like, and I'm not, I'm like pretty wise person, so I'm okay with the setting we have right now.
What about like home pods, like, Google or Alexa? Do you guys use that often at home?
Yeah, we do, and like yes, like for example, my daughter would use them to play music or find out songs, or like ask for meanings or ask for like some sounds. But as of now, like I think like as long as the medium is not visual, it's generally not so bad for your kids as of now. This is my opinion. Maybe it's wrong, but as of now, like I think like the worst kind of things that yeah, content that you can expose your kids to is mostly found on visual apps, like for example YouTube or something. But like generally, like if it's a text-based system or it's a audio-based system, it's generally okay as of now.
I've been thinking a lot about AI, or rather digital technology usage in schools. Like we hear often, in like from where we are from in Canada, also public schools are adopting more of ed tech. So using AI as well as technology in classrooms to teach children all of their lessons, right? From having giving them those Chromebooks as early as like in sixth or seventh standard, to giving them lessons via Google Drive or YouTube. They've been already exposed to a lot of technology, AI, and content on these various mediums. So, like, what do you think about now AI also possibly entering schools? And that being used as a way to educate children and expose children to different kind of content.
I mean, it's inevitable actually. Like, it's not like something that you will be able to control. If the schools are changing their curriculums, which is dependent on AI, I think they are doing the right thing, first of all, because, as I mentioned before, also, that I think like AI has improved the truth value of conversations. So like for example, whatever I am saying right now, you can I like at least I have this conception in my mind that if I say anything wrong or if I say something deliberately incorrect, you will go on the internet and you will talk to ChatGPT and you will find out that like this thing is wrong, right? Plain wrong. So I may make a mistake. That's a different thing. But at least those conversations which were like deliberately wrong, I think we socially we are removing those kind of conversations from our culture, which is a good thing. So that means that when teachers are telling some facts to your kids or they are teaching some kind of concept to your kids, they also know that they cannot just say anything that they want, and they have to do their homework, right? They have to work hard in giving education to children. Otherwise, children will find out that from AI very quickly that this was wrong, and then they will start questioning everything, and then the parents will start questioning that why are we paying so much fees to the school which is not telling the right thing to our kids. So I think schools are doing the right thing by adopting AI. That's one thing. Second is they don't have a choice. Like very soon, if they don't adopt AI in a way that AI is actually enhancing the work of teachers, very soon teachers will get replaced. So you cannot fight against AI at this point of time. This is like you only way to win this battle is to collaborate with AI. and like collaborate in a way that it is meaningful to you, and it is like it is convenient to like wherever AI gurus want the direction that they want to take right now. So don't motivate AI gurus to make ChatGPT so good that you don't even need lawyers or teachers or whatever in future. Motivate them to take AI in a direction where it is actually enhancing the works of lawyers and teachers. So, and we can only do that by adopting, by giving them more use cases and by trial and error. So I think this is inevitable that AI will be everywhere, but this is not inevitable that in which form. It could be in a form that we don't even need humans, which will be very, very sad, but that's a realistic possibility. But I think if we think optimistically, I see AI and humans working together and giving something which is really wonderful to our kids and us also. So I think that's what we should believe in. That's the kind of future we should believe in, and we should all work towards that kind of future.
That's very well put, Anmol. I want to dig it a bit further because obviously a lot of parents especially have so many questions about like they're still grasping on social media and the implications of social media in day-to-day life. Abhi AI has already come, so they have to like step up their game, right? So I'm sure a lot of parents and generally educators worry about skills. Like if we talk only from the education perspective, right, like of young children, even the skill of being able to write something, come up with something creative, write a letter or write an essay or whatnot. Now we're outsourcing it out to AI, and AI is capable of probably doing your assignments, and you won't even know if this kid has put in some effort, put in some brain time, right? So which is probably also going to impact their ability to focus on things. Recent research suggests that average humans can only have an attention span of now 47 seconds. That's a very vast deterioration of attention spans, and it's just going lower and lower and lower because of social media and the pace of technology. So my roundabout way of like saying or asking you rather is like when you say let's look at it from a positive way, let's collaborate with AI, how would that happen, especially for our children and this future generation, right? What kind of skills would they have to work on, and where would they put their brains to use to emerge in collaboration with AI for the future?
It's a very, very hard question to answer actually. Like, I am not a future predictor, and I don't think anyone is, right? So think about it, right? The kind of jobs that existed 20 years ago, 10, even 10 years ago, they don't even exist right now. Like, if I have to take a guess, I would say that 50% of the jobs that existed 20 years ago don't exist anymore. And that's the thing, right? If my daughter, she will go in job maybe like roughly in that time, and like 15 to 20 years later, and then can I tell you that what kind of skills she need to have when she will go into the job? Like there is no way to know that. There absolutely no way to know that. So if you think you know, I think you're just deluding yourself, or you are putting your kid into some kind of job which is obsolete, and they definitely don't would not want to do it at that point of time. So I think the best way to approach this is be open to the future. Like be open for surprises. If you can prepare yourself to be open for surprises, then it will not shock you when it comes, right? So like what you need to do is you need to teach your kids to be adaptable, be flexible, be like resilient, right? Because when you are open for surprises, change is change. Change is neither good, change is neither bad, nor bad, right? So only way is that you can tell your kids that things will change. Definitely they will change. Sometimes they will change for good, and sometimes they will change for bad. But you need to have the strength to be able to face whatever comes along. And if it is good, great, enjoy. And if it is bad, then you should have the required strength to face it and find a solution, right? You cannot give up. So I think that is the best way to future proof your kids. It's to tell them to be strong, become very, very strong. And when I say strong, it is not dependent on any kind of skill set. They can have any kind of skill set that they want. I think we should let our kids do whatever they want. if they want to do something, and so letting that skill grow is much better than like choosing a skill for them and then putting them into that skill. That I don't think that strategy is very good. So letting them do what they want is a best strategy, but obviously you have to give them a structure. So like you, if you give them the right values, then like for example you tell them that just because you are bored of trying something, it doesn't mean you have to give up on those things. You have to think long term and not short term. So don't let them give up on some skills that they are trying out and maybe not able to make sense of it. So those kind of values, if you inject in the kids, then they will become resilient. They will become very strong in future. And if they are strong, like I may not be there when my daughter goes for a job actually, right? No one can predict the future, but the only way I will be happy uh, in future would be if I know that my daughter is strong enough to face whatever challenges life throws at her. So I think that should be the ultimate goal of parenting, that you make your kids so strong that they are able to face whatever. But that does not mean that you just punish them for everything, or you give them some kind, like always discipline them for everything. It is not like that. You have to inject the right values. You have to teach them that love is also as important as discipline, right? So you have to be disciplined, but you also have to be loving. And only with, again, like there is no instructional teaching, right? Kids don't learn with instruction. You have to do those things. So you have to show the right examples in front of kids. So the example cannot be that I have this kind of skill or that kind of skill. No, the example have to be that you have to be strong enough in front of your kids. You have to face your own challenges head on in front of your kids. Give them those examples to live up to. And then when they face those kind of situations, they will remember, oh, that's how my dad tackled that problem, right? So let me also try it. I will also not give up because my dad never gives up, like that. So I have an example, like my daughter. So I'm a lot into reading, right? So in my home, you can find a lot of books lying around. So one time, like a feedback came from my daughter's school that like she's number one in reading skills at her school. And I was like super shocked because just 3 months before that feedback, I tried to I was like, okay, it would be very great that if my daughter starts reading, because then I will be able to share what I'm reading with her. So I kind of try to get her into reading, and she was not interested at all. She was not able to read things properly, and then I was like, okay, maybe one day will come and that I may be able to share my things with her, but it's not today, or maybe in future it may not come. She may not even like reading at all. She may not share my passions. But then when that feedback came, I was like super surprised, because then I kept thinking that why? How did it happen actually? How did it happen that she started reading very well? According to school, her class standards, she started reading very well, right? So I kept thinking about it. I kept thinking, but I realized that it's just the exposure of all the books lying around. She's living in an environment where she can see all the letters and numbers and names of the books everywhere. And then maybe consciously or subconsciously, she is always trying to interpret that what these things are, what is this what does this symbol mean, or what does, like, she's just trying to interpret it. For her it's not about language learning. For her it is just play, like there is a puzzle to be solved and I want to solve that puzzle. It's just curiosity. But because of that environmental exposure of books, she just started recognizing the characters and started reading it well, right? So this, I think this proves that you can teach your kids the right kind of attitude and right kind of values just by setting good examples in front of them. So don't worry about skills too much. I would just say that you focus on your things. What is it that you do in front of your kid? That's what you should focus on, and then kids will definitely pick it up.
That's so adorable and really a good example of, why environment matters, why exposure matters, and just doing the right things over and over, and then it probably compounds eventually, and then you have a kid who's grown up all right in the environment that you've set for them, right? I
Yeah.
want to ask you about something difficult. I know it's just a bunch of difficult questions hitting you, Anmol, but bear with me because you're
It's
so
okay.
deep.
I'm very strong. It's okay.
I can see that. You're so knee deep already in AI and machine learning. Let's talk about ethics and AI. Like, what is your take in general about ethics, creation, and ethics in the space? Where do you stand on that?
I am actually very, very bad person to have this discussion with, because I don't think you and your listeners will like my answers. Anyway, it's okay. Yeah, it's okay. I will say whatever I genuinely feel, actually. So I personally think that ethics don't exist. This is like bunch of crap. Actually, nothing is actually ethical. It's like so. Uh, like, just to put it in a metaphor, so like the gravity on Earth is different from gravity on Mars. So if we know that the acceleration in Earth gravity is 9.8 meter per second square, that does not mean that like the acceleration will be same on Mars or Moon or some other place, right? So I think ethics are like that. Like, they, in some situation they work, and like generally we are exposed to those kind of situations, and so we think that those are universal rules, but they are not. And it totally depends on the situation, that whether this rule actually applies or doesn't apply. So you cannot leave your brain behind and rely on ethics to make your decision making. You have to make the decision on a case by case basis, on situation by situation basis, that whether this rule actually really fits here or not. So that is in general a philosopher answer to this question. It's so just like, let's say if we dig deep into AI, why do we even need ethics for AI? The need for ethics is that uh, like you will not be there to make the decision. Right, you will not be there to interpret the situation and to find out whether this is the right decision or not, and you have to automate stuff. Like, for example, if a self-driving car hits a passenger, then who is at fault? Is it the car manufacturer? Is it the person who rented the car, who was riding the car? Is it the passenger? Or is it like someone, government, who allowed the car to run on the road? Who is taking that responsibility? And something has happened, so someone has to take the responsibility, right? Who will take that responsibility? So we don't have answers to those questions right now. So that is where the need for ethics is, that we find the correct answers for these questions, and then only the adoption of AI will happen. Otherwise, like, if without answering this question, you cannot allow self-driving cars to run in your city, right? So same thing is that it's like a trolley problem. If a car is going and then it calculates, a self-driving car calculates that on this path it will hit five people, and on that path it will hit one person. So should it
Which
just
one?
take? Huh? And who is deciding? Who is deciding? Is it the AI deciding, or is it the person who is coding the AI deciding, or is it like the government who is deciding that, yeah, I want this option, like just kill one person and don't kill five people? Who is deciding that, right? So those are very difficult questions to answer, right? If we haven't been able to find the answers to these questions for centuries. So you cannot expect us to find the answers very, very quickly and launch these products. So I think that what you people have to realize is that there is a price to be paid here, right? Don't Yes, ethics in the sense that the rules will be important, but these rules will be based on trial and error. There will be some kind of experimentation needed to be able to come up with the right rules, and those rules might change from place to place, or situation to situation, or use case to use case, implementation of this type of AI versus implementation of that type of AI. So it will change. So nobody can tell you that oh, these are the ethics and we should follow these guidelines and definitely these will be there. I am obviously the last person to tell you, because I don't even believe in ethics. But like, even those people who are, I'm sure there are people who are working on this thing, uh, don't expect them to be gods and make decisions on your behalf. They will also make some mistakes. They will have need some time, some kind of experimentation to come up with the things which just work for you, and whatever will come out of it, you will not be totally satisfied with it. There will be some problems with it. So be ready to live in a situation where AI is being adopted, but it is not able to solve all your moral dilemmas or your problems. They will remain forever. But look at the bright side. Will the adoption of AI make your life better, more meaningful or not? I think the answer is yes. So I think we should continue working in that direction and try to find the best solutions possible for the maximum number of people.
That's well put, Anmol. I don't think anybody would find that answer uncomfortable or dishonest in any sense, because I think a lot of listeners, especially people who would be listening to such kind of podcasts, understand the uncertainty behind the technology itself, that it's changing constantly, right? So I just generally wanted to broadly cover and understand, like, because you're doing machine learning yourself, right? Do you face this question often, and what are your thoughts on ethics in this space? But that is very understandable, that this is going to change, and it's going to be situation by situation, and again, it's not going to permanently fix or solve any problems. It's just some sort of like a moral code line, which might make some people
Yes.
happy, but it'll definitely not make everybody happy.
Yes, yes, definitely. You will be surprised how many people actually rely on ethics to make their decisions. But it's okay, it's okay. It's okay. I don't judge anyone.
I mean, if share with us some, like, if you are comfortable, obviously talking about it, right, and more like, because do you have ethics that you have to follow, or use as a startup, like behind startups, or like when you are working with your team, when you guys are coding, how does it work behind the scenes, right? When you're are you integrating ethics at all into your work?
See, like obviously there are certain boundaries that you cannot cross in any kind of work, right? And then those, so like if I have to be here and be doing certain things, and if the government will allow me to do those things, I have to follow certain guidelines. I cannot live in a society and benefit from a society without following some rules at least. Like I cannot break all the rules and then still continue to benefit from that society. So what I like, I was just answering from a point of view that uh, I don't think ethics represent ultimate reality. It does not represent the final truth, right? We have made some rules, but those rules are not truths. Those rules are just arbitrary guidelines that we have created for, because it works for a maximum number of people. It creates the least amount of problems. Or there was a situation where someone had a vision and then they created certain guidelines so that if we can fulfill those visions. So that's why ethics exist. And yes, it is your responsibility to give back the society or the culture or the universe, whatever you are taking from the universe. Give back more than what you are taking from the universe, actually. But in order to do it properly, you have to rely not on ethics but on wisdom to find out that which rule apply in which situation. So that means you have to be open to breaking the rules also if the situation demands it, and then you have to take a leap of faith that everything will work out. Like things will be okay even if there is some uncertainty. But yes, you cannot be like, you have to take decisions. So those decisions can come from rules that someone else has made, or you can use your own brain to figure out the right kind of solution for this kind of situation. So yes, the ethical guidelines are there. They are there for your reference. Look at them, decide whether they apply in your situation or not. If they do, follow them. If they don't, then break the norm and find a new strategy.
That's really something to take away. Yeah. um, in this next part, I want to talk about a hopeful future, like looking at the positive for the future of Gen Alpha, which is like our generation of kids that we're raising, right? So, what excites you about raising kids in this era, right? What fuels you about being a parent today and right now?
I think my opinion will be a little bit different from like general popular opinions, but I think like we are not equipped to be parents really. We ourselves are kids, actually, seriously. So like recently I was reading a book of Osho, and like he mentioned in that book that you will never meet a stupid kid. You will never meet a stupid kid. Okay, all the kids that you will meet are smart. Okay, but it is so hard to find a smart adult. Like most of the adults that you meet are stupid, so what is happening in the middle that this thing is getting changed? Like what is happening? How are we flipping the script and for the worst, and we are not even realizing that we are doing? And I personally believe that a lot of problems in our society right now exist because we are not letting kids be kids. We are interfering too much in their lives. We are trying to control their lives too much. Their life has to be a little bit dangerous, a little bit unpredictable, a little bit playful. And we are trying to make it very, very serious. We are trying to make it very, very predictable. We are trying to make it fit whatever our aspirations are. There are a lot of situations where we're not even treating our kids as our kids. We are treating them as us. Like we are thinking that, oh, if he or she achieves something, that would mean I have achieved something, and we are pushing them in that direction. They don't even have their own individual identity, and that really, really makes my heart cry. Seeing those kind of situations and seeing kids in those kind of situations, because they can't even do anything, right? What can a 6-year-old do if your mother or father is telling you these kind of things and treating you this way, and they will live their lives thinking that yes, that is the right way, and maybe they will also do the same thing to their kids, and the whole chain will continue that way, right? So I personally believe that we are not equipped to be parents. We should redefine parenting. First of all, why there are schools for kids? Why there are no schools for parents? Like,
Good
have
question.
we?
Please send me to a
Yeah.
parenting school.
Huh, no, why there are no schools for parents? I don't really understand. How did we assume that we are totally equipped to be parents? How did we assume that? Where is our degree? What kind of course did we take? Which I mean, even to find a low level job, you have to show some kind of diploma or degree. To do this thing, which is like toiling with somebody's life and like making decisions about somebody's life, you need no degree, no diploma, no course, nothing. That is just doesn't make sense to me at all. Okay, so yeah, but unfortunately there are no schools. Okay, so now I think we have to change. We have to be humble. We have to accept that we are idiots. We don't know anything about parenting, and since there are no schools, or like maybe our parents also did not tell us the right thing to do, we have to become a student. We have to learn what we have to do as a parents, and I'm telling you, like a lot of learning comes from kids themselves. Like like a lot of philosophy that has inspired me to do whatever I am doing. Uh, like if I look at it in a broader sense, I see that kids do it all the time. Like my daughter already knows that whole philosophy, and I'm thinking that if I was a kid, then I would have known about that philosophy also. Then something happened that I forgot totally about that philosophy, and suddenly now I'm realizing that, oh shit, I again have to become a kid to be able to enjoy my life, to be able to take the right decision, to drive the product in the right direction, or anything that I want to do. So this is like so I once I realized that, I actually started treating my daughter as not as a daughter really, but I am more like a elder brother to her. So like I let her do whatever she wants to do, and I just try to guard her in a way that she does not hurt herself. That is my only concern, and within that, so it's like think of this as a field of play. So I've created a field of play for her where she can do whatever she wants, and I am the gatekeeper of that field. Like you can do whatever you want in within that boundary, and I am standing on a boundary to make sure that you don't go out of the boundary and nobody else comes into your boundary. That's how I started thinking of myself as a parent. But like you have, and it should be the job of every parent to make sure that field of play is as big as possible, as big you can afford with your money, as big you can afford with your time, with like whatever resources you have to make sure that that psychological field of play for your child should be as big as possible. But I think the parents right now are doing the opposite. They are trying to narrow it as much as possible. They just want their kids to do exactly what they want them to do, and that's not a field of play at all. And that's why the kids are not able to play, and that's why they are not feeling like kids, and that's why when they are growing up, they are behaving like kids, because they never got a chance to be kids actually.
That is so many threads to explore, Anmol. Like, but I think you nailed it right on the head, saying that what gave us parents this authority to say that we are great at parenting. It's not like a lot of like it's just from recent experience. When I became a mother, a lot of people came around and told me, trust your motherhood instincts. What instincts? I had no instincts. I was in severe pain from postpartum. Nobody told me how exactly. I had to Google and YouTube how to change diaper, educate myself, and my husband, and we were like spending hours and hours on social media and Google figuring out our little baby when nobody taught us or gave us any skills whatsoever. Like, you're skilled in finance, you're skilled in data science, you should be skilled in emotional negotiation and like patience and resilience and things like that needed to, especially in the first few years, right? Like when you're in the deep end.
Yesterday I was talking to my brother, and like I was asking him suggestions about how to deal with this kind of situation, and he gave me some suggestion, and I was like so surprised. I told him that like I am in my late 30s now, and I still don't know how to express my emotions, and this is like it. And it just came to my mind that why this is not being taught anywhere, how to express your emotions properly. It is such an important skill. You can't even like move from like first stage to second stage of anything. Like even if you're interviewing somewhere, if you're not able to express your emotions properly, you're not going to get a good job. And it just doesn't make any sense to me that why these basic things are not being taught anywhere, and then we are all focused on skills and jobs and whatever. But yeah, like it just like I think kids are suffering right now, and something has to change.
No, that 100%. It needs to be a play-based childhood, full of freedom, full of just endless boundaries. So they never limit themselves and they just explore and find out and grow into the best possible versions of themselves, not the versions that we dictate and tell that you're going to become an engineer tomorrow or you're going to become a doctor tomorrow.
Yeah,
Um,
definitely.
this is so great, Anmol. I know it's kind of coming to the end of our time, but whenever we end an episode, I hope to ask our guests this one thing called rules we live by. So share with me one parenting rule and one tech rule that you hope to live by, even if it's something you're doing or if it's something that you aspire to do, so that our parent listeners especially have something to take away in their pockets.
For parents, I would say that I just want to give this suggestion that consider the possibility that your kid might be right. Consider the possibility. Please, please, please. Don't reject their ideas on face value that it just because they are coming from a kids and you don't understand, you were not exposed to that kind of environment, that doesn't mean that they are wrong. Please, before making any decision, consider the possibility that your kid might be right. That's it.
Hmm. Wow.
Uh, okay, and for and do you want a suggestion related to kids or just a general tech suggestion?
A general tech, anything. Any rule that you have implemented or any rule you want to implement in your house, tech rule.
Tech rule.
I can hear you
So,
say I don't stand by rules.
yeah, no, definitely I don't stand by rules. I don't think there are any rules really exist in this world. I don't think so. So, but I think like if it's all about boundaries, right? So, like there is, if you want to play the game of family or home, you have to set some kind of boundaries for that game also. So, I think like the best thing that you can do is like to be flexible in terms of what do you want to try. I think technology is a very good thing to experiment with. There is a lot of innovation which is going on in technology, and there is a lot of exposure that your kids can get through technology. So treat it as a playground. Try to experiment with a lot of different things, and like use all the tech tools to teach your kids that that's how you can explore. That's how you can expose yourself to things that you don't know. I think that's a cheap and safe way of uh, getting your child into that exploratory mindset.
Hmm. That's very well put. Well, Thank you so much, Anmol. This was a fabulous conversation. I think it's a conversation that's going to open up a lot more conversations for people. And there is no right or wrong. We're all figuring this out as we go, especially parenting in this generation of technology. Like you said, we need to do it mindfully, positively, and take it up as a challenge as opposed to being scared about the future and working up over it. Because your kids are going to see how you're practicing all of that before ending up being those same things themselves, right? So, thank you so much once again for being a guest on this show.